there, beautiful beings, and welcome to my sacred space. My name is Raven, and thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays and a prosperous and blessed new year to everyone. We are at the end of the year again, and this is going to be my annual deck collection video, or like a show and tell of all of the decks that I still have in my collection. Um, my tarot and oracle deck collection has exponentially grown over the years. More so when I started this channel. So it's gonna be a long video to say the least, but there are also quite a few decks that I have rehomed already, and that's perfectly normal. I think it's natural for people to outgrow specific decks, or maybe you feel like a specific deck or a certain deck doesn't resonate with you anymore. So I feel like I was kind of selfish for keeping decks in my collection that I don't even use anymore. I would think, I want it here. I like looking at the imagery. One day I'm gonna use the deck, but that never really happens. I feel like I would think, okay, I'm gonna give this deck 6 months. And if I pull it within the next 6 months, then it's gonna stay. But more often than not, like, these decks would just remain untouched, and I feel sorry kind of for these decks because they're beautiful. They have great energy. It's just that I guess I have outgrown it, or it's just really not resonating with me anymore. And in instances like that, I would just typically rehome the decks. But anyway, I digress. Today, I'm going to show you the decks that I do have still in my collection. We're going to go through the Oracle decks first. I have no idea how many they are right now, but I am so sure it's going to be a long video. So let's just start in no particular order. This is Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. I like this one because it's so earthy. I love the colors. I love the deep turquoise here. I don't even know if that's turquoise, but I just want to show you the backing. I want to show you the front. As you can see, it's very minimalist a little bit. Actually, not very, but some cards look very simple like this, but again, they do give off the energy of the earth. I think the keywords in this one are amazing, and at the same time they do have action phrases here, which makes it a lot easier for beginners. Like, for example, if you pull this card, this is the Heart Guardian card, and what it tells you is to love and let yourself be loved. So very easy here. Trust your instincts, right? Enjoy success and happiness. So I tend to like decks that are very straightforward and very easy to understand. So this is staying in my collection. Next up, we have this is the Daily Guidance from Your Angels Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. An old deck. So this has 44 cards. Doreen Virtue, as you know, turned against the this thing. But anyway, her new age beliefs are long gone, and I just want to show you because I feel like it's still awesome. Like, it's a Doreen Virtue deck. Like, she had great intentions when she created it, so why not keep it? This one has gold edging, and here, as you can see, the imagery does remind me of, like, it's like a timestamp. The design of this deck, like the thick bar at the bottom, which has the keywords and like a paragraph, not even just a phrase, like a full-on paragraph. It speaks like of the time. Do you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense. But this deck is very good. Of course, this is an angel deck. I would tend to pull cards from it and just help me set my day. So yeah, like if I need an advice, I would just shuffle this deck, set my intention, and then get the advice that I need. So I think this is really cool. Oh, by the way, in this review, I'm not going to go through each of the guidebooks anymore. If you are keen to see the guidebooks, I have done deck reviews for each of these decks, so you can just check out my videos. This is Angel Answers by Radley Valentine. Another one that seems old, but that's because this was published a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but years ago. And it was just recently, I think maybe a couple of years ago, maybe just, or maybe last year, recently reproduced for Hay House, but only holding just Radley's name. Because this was initially created by Radley and Doreen Virtue, the lady I showed you earlier. But yes, so ever since Doreen kind of like let go of her new age beliefs, Radley just decided to drop her name and proceed with the deck because like most of the actually all of Doreen Virtue's decks are now out of print. But as you can see, this one has action phrases. It has time, and it has like clear answers. No, unlikely. So I like this one if I want like straight to the point answers, like no, not a lot of time to, really go dig deep with my intuition. I just use this deck because I get, immediate answers. Next up is Rebecca Campbell's The Healing Waters Oracle. I think this is the most recent one from her. So Rebecca Campbell is amazing in the sense that her art, well, actually she's not the artist, she has a specific artist for this deck, Katie Louise. I think it's amazing, but the keywords in here are also fantastic. You have not just the title of the card, but at the same time you have like different action phrases that can help you connect more with your intuition or to understand the message that's being conveyed to you. So this one obviously is a water themed deck, and I think that's good. That's amazing because I am a water baby. I think I've said that several times in this channel before. So I love anything water. So this is just absolutely stunning, calming. The energy is so refreshing. Aside from it being, how to say it, like when you feel sticky in the summer and you just go into the shower and the moment the water hits your skin, sweat drenched skin, it feels cleansing. There you go. It feels very cleansing, and at the same time it provides amazing guidance. So that is the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Next is the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, but the artwork for this one is actually by Danielle Noel. So this is an older deck. It has the same packaging, but as you can see, this one is more cosmic. I don't know if you can see the artwork better. I think you do. Like it is registered a little bit more vibrant on the screen, but in real life it's a lot more pale. And as you can see, this, as I mentioned earlier, is more geared towards the universe, right? I enjoy this deck. It's one of the first few Oracle decks that I purchased. I bought it together with the Work Your Light Oracle by the same creators, and I use this deck for special occasions whenever I feel like I need a little nudge from my spirit guides or from the universe, my soul family. I grab this deck. I just feel so comforted whenever I use it. The graphics, the vibe, everything. I love this one. It's a deck that's definitely staying in my collection no matter what. So next up is the Rose Oracle, also by Rebecca Campbell, but artwork is by Katie Louise, her new artist. This is beautiful. She provided an attunement, right? The backing on this one is just stunning. Of course, it's rose, and I don't know, it just screams feminine or divine feminine energy. I love it. It's stunning. The imagery on this one is a little bit more hazy, but it does really connect with your female energy, your feminine energy. It is, like I said earlier, not as vibrant, not as clear as, let's say, the Starseed Oracle, but it is able to provide you with the guidance that you need in like a different way. I hope I'm making sense. I feel like, for some Oracle decks, they give you guidance like straight up, right? Like the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck, it seems very straightforward, so succinct. Like, hey, this is your guidance. Like, here, this is it, get it. But for this one, I'm not so sure if it has something to do with the actual design, how everything seems like you're seeing it through the veil, or maybe it's just the nurturing and caring and very gentle feminine energy that's coming through. But I feel like, whatever guidance that I get from this deck, it comes at me very subtly, but it's not afraid to tell me like, hey, you need to get this advice, you need to understand this. It's very persistent, there you go, but at the same time it's very gentle. So technically like a woman, like a mother, someone who's very caring, nurturing, but at the same time will, give you shit if you don't follow the instructions, I feel like. So next up, we are going with the original or first Monology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. This is again one of my first few decks, one of my favorites. Very straightforward and succinct. The backing is just very simple and gorgeous. I edged mine in this beautiful indigo color, and the imagery is just so simple. I know a lot of people might think, that's it. It's just a moon. It's just this. Whatever, I love it. I think it's very beautiful. It has its own charm. Also, the actual messages on this one, it's always correct. It's always resonating in any of my readings. It just comes through. And I think that's one of the things that make this deck special, is how straightforward it is. And I think that's so cool. Like this one, action phrases, right? Clear answers. And I love that. Sometimes you just feel like, I just need a straight answer. So I hope I get one. And this deck does that. Another deck that I'm very, very fond of is the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck by Heather Askinosi. You know what? Honestly, I've seen this deck on Hay House's website multiple times. And I just swiped past it. I was just like, I don't like it. I'm not so fond of the backing, but whoa, like the images, it's very simple. Yeah, it's just the actual, like the actual crystal, right? But the actual keywords on this one are just so cray-cray in the sense that every time, I kid you not, this one, every time that I use this deck, it just hits me like, hey, this is what you need to do. Get out of your comfort zone. It really resonates. I have never done a reading wherein the card that I pulled from this deck doesn't connect with my client or myself or, with whoever I'm reading for. I think it's very simple, very minimalist, but the key phrases or the action phrases on this one are just so spot on. I love this deck. I think it's amazing. One that will definitely stay in my collection. I think I've done several different videos just using this deck as confirmation cards. So yeah, definitely staying. Next up is the Work Your Light Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell, but artwork by Danielle Noel. So I bought this deck alongside the Starseed Oracle together. I think this is just absolutely gorgeous. So stunning. And the images in the front, they match the backing, which I think is really cool. You can clearly see Danielle Noel's art here. She's amazing at what she does. And yeah, this one is just powerful. It is very powerful. It's like a connection between the stars, your spirit, and the earth. I feel like it's very grounding, but at the same time, it's so out there because, the imagery, it's just so otherworldly. And I love this deck. The messages that comes through are also very spot on. And, these are not going to go at you, or these are not going to come at you and be like straightforward. These messages would be the type that you would need to ruminate about. So I think that's what I like about it, because it allows me to look inward and, try to have a deeper connection with the specific card that I pulled and with my situation. Basically, this deck allows me to know myself a little bit more, if that makes sense. In my attempt to learn or understand the messages that they're trying to tell me, I learn more about myself as well. Next up is Amor et Psyche Oracle. This is by George Barbier. Barbier and Rachel Paul. This is actually a Los Carabeo deck that, quite frankly, I haven't used much. This is really bordering near the rehoming pile, but I'm not so sure. I think I'm gonna keep it just because I feel like it's so different from what I have in my collection. It is about love and spirit and all of that, right? Like relationships, but on a more NSFW level, like I said. But yeah, so for love readings, I honestly tend to pull other decks more. But I think, this is something good to have. I'm not gonna let go of it right away. All right, next up is Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco, a recently added deck in my collection. And by recently, I mean this year. Look at that. It has this stunning, stunning, stunning edging in gold. And the backing is just so ferocious, like fierce, right? But yeah, like the title suggests, this is deep, dark, and dangerous. It has creatures here that like hell. So I'm not really familiar with most of these creatures. Like I have seen them in like mythologies and read about them in mythologies and whatnot. But like most of them are just okay. Like what are you? These are what you would call monsters, I guess. But yeah, these messages come through with very straightforward answers. And I like going through the guidebook for this one just because I feel like I need a little bit more guidance. As like I said, I'm not typically familiar with most of them, right? But yeah, this is an amazing deck to have. Oh, Sphinx. I like it because I feel like it opens your mind to the other side, so to speak. All right, next up we have Witching Hour Oracle by Lorian Anderson. I just filmed the unboxing for this one, I think yesterday or the other day, so I really don't have a lot of comments regarding this deck yet, apart from the backing being absolutely beautiful. Like Tanya Pizzolato mentioned here when she left a comment, like the artist really pulled through and made it seem like it's glittery. So that's really amazing. As for the images, they're vibrant this amidst the dark background. So still colorful, still very, very emotive. But yeah, this is the deck. Don't have a lot to say about it yet, because I just filmed, I just opened it, but there you go. Okay, if you want to see the full review for this one, it's just there. In my channel, the videos on my channel. I haven't had a chance to update the playlist, so bear with me. This is Love Who You Are by Angie Sullins with art by Silas Dobal. I don't remember if this is a US Games deck. Let's see. Is it? Yes, it is a US Games deck. Okay. And I think it's really cool. What's funny about it is like the images are so feminine, they're so floral, the colors are beautiful. This is an animal themed deck, but as you can see, like the messages are like tell shame to suck it. There's still a little bit of spunk in it, and I like the art. I like the style. It seems like your old this is so cute. Like your old art style. I mean, I don't know what kind of, it's not what do you call it, Art Nouveau, but I don't know, it gives me that comforting grandma energy. No shade to anyone out there, but that's what I feel like with this deck. As you can see, you don't have any additional keywords on this one, but I guess that's because like the messages that they have are just very, very straightforward. They're coming at you with the actual message, like follow your bliss, easy does it, gather your nuts. It's so funny. Honor your wisdom. It's just very straightforward. So I like this one. I love that this one has this gilded edging, so I think it's absolutely stunning. Not a fan of the backing though, but oh well. Let's move on to the next one. This is Finding Inner Peace Inspiration Cards by, gosh, I forgot, Olivia Berkey. This one came in with this, this wooden thingy. I'm not so sure if that's even made of wood, if this cardboard thingy that they hardened. But yeah, you're supposed to put it in your desk, and then just, whatever card that you pick for the day, you can just leave it there so you can meditate on it, ruminate on it, you know. This one has beautiful edging on the side, gold edging, and doesn't have any borders. It has some sort of like a very quirky style. I love how the words are like all over the place. It's just very, very pretty. I love the colors that she chose. I love how it seems like it's textured. And the messages are just really, really perfect for your daily affirmations. Like, okay, what do I need to work on today? I will begin to truly love myself with a love that awakens my soul. I mean, it's just very perfect. Perfect for journaling also, if that is what you're into. But essentially, it's a perfect deck just to like get in touch a little bit more with your inner self, regardless if you're male or female. This deck might look very feminine, and it is very feminine, but regardless if you're male or female, this will work for you. Right, next up is the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. This has 50 cards. This is by Katie Jane Wright with illustrations by Nikki Strange. This is very simple. Like the packaging, I saw this at the bookstore, and I just didn't think much about it until I actually purchased it and was blown away by the imagery. Look at the backing on this one. It's gorgeous. I love the geometric feel and the colors that she chose. Very beautiful. The images on this one are also stunning. I love the animals. I think they're very artfully done. So let's have a look at this one. Like, for example, we have Raven. You can clearly see that the image of the raven here is not just your clear-cut, simple raven, right? It is so stunning. I love the small details in this one. This is, of course, a watercolor painting, but you can see a lot of details. It feels like it's moving. It's like alive. You have the title. You have the symbol of the element. And then you have the title and the meaning. Oh, I said title, like another keyword and like a short meaning. So this is a beautiful deck. I love that it is animal themed. I love that the animals here are not like your usual, just like a drawing of an animal. It's not cartoonish at all. It's very, very artfully done, very beautiful. And like I said, looking at the box of this deck, no one, at least I didn't think that it will be that beautiful, but voila. It is a stunning deck to have. So, staying in my collection, definitely. This is the Soul's Journey Soul's Journey Lessons cards by James Van Praagh. One of the first few Oracle decks that I purchased as well. And one of my favorites. One that I didn't expect that I would like. I don't like the backing on this one. Looks like mitochondria. I edged this in this kind of like burgundy color. And in the front, or in the actual faces of the deck, you just have like these different mandala figures, different mandala designs, different geometric shapes, and all of that. I feel like this one has a lot to do with sacred geometry. But what I really do love about this is how straightforward it is. Like, you have the title. I know that I am never alone. Like affirmations that you can use, right, to counter something negative that you might feel that coincides with the title of with the card that you actually chose. So I think this is really beautiful. Abundance. I'm limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So perfect for manifestation, right? So that is it. That is the Soul's Journey Lessons cards by James Van Praagh. Next up, we have the Flowers of the Night Oracle by Sherilyn Darcy. This was gifted to me, I think by Anna Quarensense, was it? Alright, so this is very dark, as you can see, because of course this is a night theme deck, particularly flowers that bloom in the night. So you have very nice, I'm not so sure, I don't think these are watercolor. I don't know what medium the artist used, or Sherilyn Darcy used, to create these images, but they're very, very interesting. Very interesting. So you have the keywords here, or what the card means, and the actual flower that's being shown, or the highlight of the deck. So for example, understanding, and it's night blooming, serious. Compassion, it's port wine magnolia. I'm not really well adept when it comes to flowers, but the messages on this deck, again, very succinct. So I like this one. I love Sherilyn Darcy's other decks, the smaller ones, but this is really cool to have as well. Right, so next up we have Messages from Your Animal Spirit Guides Oracle by Stephen D. Farmer. This is like quite an older deck, but I just recently purchased it. Maybe recently, I mean this year. Backing is just very simple. In the front, yeah, there you go. That's the art style that seems like, I don't know, a lot older than the more modern decks. But this is an animal theme deck. And what I like about this is, you have the image of the animal in the middle, and at the same time, you just have the actual message that the animal is like telling you, right? This specific animal guide, the weasel, is telling you to be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside and all around you. I love that it's very straightforward, and it's giving you the actual advice. Like actual advice. Like, for example, you pull, you're going through something, or you want to know how your day will turn out, what guidance do you need to tackle the day, right? You just let go of fear and know that you're safe and protected at all times. It might not make sense to you by the moment that you actually pull the cards, but when it happens, then you'll realize, oh my gosh, yeah, that means a lot. That is the perfect message to me for today. So anyway, this is Wisdom of Hafiz, another deck by Angie Solins. You know what? I actually purchased this one first over the other Angie Solins deck I showed you earlier, the Love Who You Are. And primarily because I'm very much into Sufism. I'm not a Sufi myself. Can't say that I learned enough about the religion or this practice to be called one. But this is something that's very, very interesting to me. So I purchased this deck, and, I haven't seen any of the imagery. Just went ahead and purchased it, and I'm just happy that I did, because this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. I love, 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 love the artwork for this one. It's a little bit less grandma-ish compared to the Love Yourself deck, but it's just stunning. I love the clear-cut messages. Receive your blessings, retreat, dance, unleash your passion. Apart from it being very straightforward, it also allows you to like connect with your intuition and find a deeper meaning for each of these messages, for each of these what do you call them, action key phrases, right? So there you go. That is the Wisdom of Hafiz. Very beautiful deck. Look at the backing, and this one has gold foiling as well. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna receive some comments out there who's gonna be like, hey, you should show the decks a little bit clearer, or don't go through it super fast or whatnot. I understand. There are some people who are interested about a deck and want to know more about them. There are specific reviews already of each of these decks on my channel. So just, kind of go through it there, because I just want to go through the entire thing. And if I take my time going through each of the guidebooks, each of the decks, or each of the cards for this video, is just going to take a long time. Anyway, this is the Moonology Messages Oracle, the latest one from Yasmin Boland. This came out this year. Very simple backing. It reminds me of, somewhat Art Deco style, very minimalist. I'm going to say this is not my favorite from her collection, but, I like Yasmin Boland. Messages are clear-cut as usual. Imagery is also not that bad. I like how it differs from the others. She has always had like a tinge of minimalism in the artwork, right? Although she's not the artist. Is she the artist? I'm not so sure. I don't remember. No. Somebody else created the artworks for her decks. But of course, she has the the art direction, rather, for her cards. But yeah, this is a little bit neater, I guess I would say. Symmetrical, very simple. Very neat, actually. The artwork is very neat. Keywords, they're nice. Like, moonlight serenade, change your tune. Again, reach for the moon, go for it. Truth, so these are action phrases at the same time. And something that I have been very, very busy lately, so I feel like my preferences for decks, before I would really love, right, when I was talking about it, really love decks that go deep, decks that allow you to really dig deep into your intuition to get the guidance, like this one. So this is Nature's Whispers Oracle cards by Angela Hartfield and Josephine Wall. So earlier when I was saying that, before I like decks that are like this, just so jam packed with symbolisms, with different like imagery, and I feel like a lot of things are going on in each part of the deck, or of the card. Yeah, that is well and good, but only if you can commit to like sitting down like 2 to 3 minutes to just really understand what the deck is trying to tell you, what the card is trying to tell you. And I don't have the luxury of time nowadays, so I prefer like clear cut messages. But this deck, of course, has its own keywords as well. But if you wanna just really ruminate and meditate, or maybe this deck would be better for, let's say, someone out there who's doing journaling, right? Because then you would have the time, you would set like a specific amount of time to really go through the messages that that's coming at you. So, but other than that, like the artwork of this one, it's phenomenal. Look at that. I'm not so sure if you can clearly see, like there are three, oh no, actually four beautiful women on the tree. It's just very naturey, very grounding, very stunning artwork. So yeah, that is Nature's Whispers by Angela Hartfield. Another one from her that I feel like has the same vibe is the Whispers of Love Oracle. I use it for love reading, so as you can clearly see, there you go. Listen with your heart. Do something for someone. Have faith. Love is all around you. Practice compassion. So I think, this is not just solely for romantic relationships, but at the same time, all relationships in general. Your relationship with your friends, with your family, with your loved one. It goes for any type of relationship reading as well. Or maybe just yourself, like trying to find out about yourself. What is your relationship style? What do you need to work on? What do you need to focus on, like moving forward? How do you trust? A lot of questions that can be answered by this deck. And again, similar with the Nature's Whispers Oracle, the artwork for this deck is just absolutely stunning. Like I feel like you can get this, put it on your wall, and voila, you have a painting. You have a very, very stunning art piece. So Whispers of Love by Angela Hartfield with artwork by Josephine Wall. Alright, this one is a deck that I initially already rehomed, but I missed it. And I think that's a tell. That's a tell if you were not done with a specific deck, is if you miss it. And I did. I missed this one. So this is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Backing is very... I don't have anything to say about the backing. Images on this one. As you can see, I haven't used it yet since I repurchased it. I don't know. I just feel like maybe the vibe of the deck wants to be with me again, but I haven't really used it. Another tell that this deck is quite old is this style, like with the ribbon, with the thick border, with this one. It might seem corny now compared to the modern designs that we have, but I like it. I like the keywords in this one. I love how it's very straightforward, and the images, despite it seeming very simple, you can get a lot of messages from each of these decks. Like this one, the sun, for example. I remember I did a reading before wherein I was drawn to the paintbrushes, or I was drawn to the music, or the baby, and it made sense. So I think Sandra Ann Taylor was able to inject symbolisms in this deck flawlessly. So I really, really like the Energy Oracle cards. Haven't used it for a while, but it's good to have. Next up is Colette Baron reads the Enchanted Map Oracle. Whoopsies. Okay. So this is the reprinted or republished version, revamped version. The old one doesn't look like this. The old one kind of looks similar to the Energy Oracle cards, like wherein it has this border at the back. I like this one better just because it's more aesthetic for me. I love the color scheme. The images on the front are basically the same. Sans, except for like a couple of cards wherein they had to change the characters in it, or maybe do a little bit of tweaking. Sadly, I don't know which cards they were. It's in the back of my mind, but I can't really tell you right now. But yeah, they have the keyword down here and a stunning imagery. There are no additional key phrases here, which is fine. I think Colette Baron Reid decks, the images on her decks are just so jam-packed with symbolisms that, you know, even if you only have like the title of the card, you'll get somewhere, you'll get far. So that is the Enchanted Map Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. Coming up is one of my best friend decks. This is the Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. Best friend because I cried so much while using this deck. I love the backing. I feel like it shows you a clear depiction of like what an angel really does look like based on Ezekiel's description. But I love this deck. I adore the artwork for this one. It's just, I initially thought that I wouldn't like it because I'm more into clear lines or defined lines. This one feels like it's just a mesh of different colors, but if you look at it, you know that it is the style. Like if you can clearly see here the angel, you can see the feathers or the lines of the feathers. So you know this is obviously her art style, Jennifer Hawkyard. That is how she creates her art, and I think it makes it a lot more special. A lot more special. One thing that I really love about this deck as well is that the angels, they are facing you. Normally I don't like decks like that, but in this specific, you know, deck, I just absolutely love it because they are clearly looking at you. I feel like they're connecting with me. I feel like they're looking at my soul and really telling me, hey, this is what you need to do. We are here. We are guiding you. It's very comforting. Like this deck absorbed a lot of my tears in the past. So I'm very grateful for this deck for guiding me in my toughest times. So yeah, that is the Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. Right, next up we have the Astral Realms Crystal Oracle by Dark Moon Crystals and Prism plus Fleur Design Studio. This is a rock pool deck. It's actually one of the first few rock pool decks that made me pay attention to how they create their product. It's stunning. Always been a fan of rock pool's guidebooks. I think they're absolutely stunning, but even more so with this one. This deck is very special in the sense that it has a different kind of paper. I don't understand, but it feels like it's glimmering in your hand. It's not shown through the camera, but it really has some sort of like iridescence in the actual card. Very stunning, very simple. You know, it's a crystal deck. It's very simple. My cat, what's wrong with you? But it has some sort of like elegance. Do you know what I mean? It feels luxurious, even like the style of this deck. I love the muted tones. I love how the crystals are presented in a way that has a little bit more art and not just like the actual crystal. Not shading my favorite daily crystal inspiration deck, but I feel like if you're keen to maybe connect with your feminine energy, like this is a good deck to use. I feel like it's just absolutely stunning. It's cosmic, and at the same time it's just very comforting. It's calming, you know. Right. Oh, and you know, I love also the rose gold metallic edging, so that's fantastic. Oh, boundaries. So, I didn't talk about what is actually on the card. So you have the crystal here, the keyword, and the astrological association. Next up, we have the Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff, MD. This one doesn't have a guidebook, but that's because you already have the message that you need to hear in the actual card. So very simple imagery. You know, something that I wouldn't typically gravitate towards, you know, to buying, but the messages on this one, it's just amazing. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. So these are basically things that you need to surrender in order for you to be a little bit closer to your ascension, right? Like things that we need to fix within ourselves. And I love that this has 52 cards, so a lot of surrender obsessive thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. So basically straightforward answers, straightforward advices, and this is just a wonderful deck. Keeping this one, also love the backing. Next is Lover's Oracle, 45 heart-shaped guidance cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. I think this is the only Tony Carmine Salerno deck that I will purchase just because she uses the same art in all of her other cards. I mean, not just the art style, yeah, but the actual cards. I checked some that she has on the Blue Angel website, and they're basically like the same thing, except these are heart shaped. So, yeah, I think I'm passing on other decks from her. But in terms of the messages, like it is something that will benefit you if you're using this for love readings, just because I feel like they give you clear cut answers. Like if you pick a card, or like if you use this for confirmation, or just like a supplementary message for your reading, it's very very helpful, very straightforward. And so far all of the cards that I have selected or have picked, whenever I'm using this as a confirmation deck, it really does resonate. So I like this one. And yeah, that is it. Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. Next oddly shaped deck that I have is Coffee Cup Oracle. This is by Amira Celon. And it's somewhat similar to your tea leaf cards. I have already rehomed mine. But yeah, the packaging, or I mean the production quality is not as awesome. Like some cards are strange, but haven't really used this. But I feel like it gives you the answer straightforward. So you have the keyword here and you have the keyword here and additional messages at the top. So if you get the shark, could be about survival, could be about power. If you get the dove, of course, peace and serenity. If you get dolphins, playfulness and cooperation. So very clear cut, very straightforward. You can use these as well as representation cards. So for example, the groom, you could use it for the man. Yeah. Similar to how we do it in, what do you call it? The Lenormand, maybe. Yeah, at the end of the day, it all depends on you, on how you use your Oracle decks. You can follow how the creator wants you to use the decks, or you can just go with your intuition. I often go with mine. So this is the Mystical Journey Oracle by Tennessee Sharpenter. Another rock pull stunning deck, I tell you. This is one of my favorite decks just because the packaging, the production quality is fantastic. These are buttery soft, like rose petal finish. Come on, for what, a mass-produced deck? Look at the back. Look at the guidebook as well. It's just so beautiful. Anyway, here you have iridescent pearl for the edging. I love it. It's like a very very magical deck. Okay, and then of course you have the fronts, which are very earthy, but at the same time very spiritual. Like I feel like I'm very connected to the earth when I look at these, but it reminds me that I'm human, but at the same time I feel like, okay, just push me a little bit further and I can be connected to my higher self, my higher being. I feel like this deck allows you to see yourself as both, if that makes sense. Very beautiful artwork also, like the colors that they use, the emotions that the cards convey, they're all there. It's also stunning. So Mystical Journey Oracle, a deck that allows you to embrace your true path, by Rockpool. Next up is the Power of Love Oracle activation cards. This is by James Van Prague. So similar to the Soul's Journey Oracle cards or lesson cards, these are very straightforward. Backing, nah. Edge mine. I just did this. I edged mine in like light green color just to give it a little bit of oomph when I had that time to customize my decks. So these, of course, I use them for love readings. So essentially just confirmation cards for any love readings that I do, just for myself and for other people. It doesn't just give you the message that you need to hear, it's also very comforting, if that makes sense. Like the energy, that is what it gives you. Comfort, like a hug, and that everything will be okay. Next up, we have Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards. This is by PC Cast and Colette Baron Reed. This is based off a book. Now, initially, I didn't like this deck. It has pointed edging or pointed edges, which gave me multiple paper cuts. So I had to buy like a puncher that would get rid of the sides, the edges, and I had to paint it with a silver marker just to kind of like make it look cohesive still, because this deck has silver edging. So the Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle is actually based off a book by PC Cast. I don't like the edging. It's a little bit too thick for my liking. It seems like an old deck, but that is fine. The clarifications that I get from this Oracle deck really coincides with the whole meaning of the spread or the reading that I was doing. So, despite it being an old style deck, or at least the aesthetic of it, I really do like it. And even though I haven't read the book, nor do I have plans on reading the book, you can still use it. It will still resonate. Next up is Affirmators, 50 affirmation cards. This is by Knock Knock. I initially only had the love version of this deck, which, funny, I can't find it right now. But I know I have that one, and I liked it so much that I ended up purchasing this as well. So let's have a look. So in the back, so funny, the unicorn and the rabbit riding the unicorn. This is like the general deck, so just affirmators of affirmations all throughout, like perfect for journaling or when you're starting your day. They have like a work version of this one, which you can also purchase, but essentially you just shuffle it and then whatever card pops out, maybe that's something that you need to focus on. What I like about this one is the images are so light, they're so funky, and the actual caption or the paragraphs that they have or the messages that they have on the actual cards are very light-hearted, very quirky and funny. So I feel like people will be able to grasp the message that you're trying to convey because it's easy to understand and it's funny. Next up is Healers of the Earth Oracle. I forgot the creator's name. It's Mandy Peterson. I really wanted to keep this deck. I really liked it. I've seen some tarot readers use this as well. This is an independent deck. I love how you have a lot of keywords at the bottom, a lot of symbolisms in the cards. Not really fond of the creator though. She was, I think, maybe having a bad day when she conversed with me, when I had issues with the shipping or I had questions regarding the shipping, and she wasn't as receptive. And see, even after like maybe 2 years, I'm still thinking about that. So the energy, despite the energy of this deck is wonderful and all, but I am reminded of that. So maybe that's what making me feel like I want to rehome this deck, but I don't know. I don't want to give this my connection with this deck, a negative vibe just because of the creator. You know what I mean? But the imagery is beautiful, and I think the creator actually she released several different versions of this deck just because, I don't know, it was created during 2020 or whatever. I don't really recall, but so far, the readings that I get from this deck are good, and the messages really are very, very helpful. So perhaps I'm going to keep this one. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is the Animal Apothecary by Cara Elizabeth. This is a Hay House deck. Love the colors on this one. So vibrant, so pretty. Is that caduceus? Caduceus? Oh gosh, I forgot what it's called. Caduceus? I don't even know how to pronounce it. But kind of like the medicine symbol, right? Here. It's very quirky. Look at that. Cute puma. Right? Nourish the Shadow. I love it. It's so funky. It's a quirky deck. I feel like, the artwork is different from my style. I like it. This is an animal deck, and I have been getting a lot of animal decks recently, so I like that it is a part of my collection. I think I'm gonna keep it. I love it. So there you go. Animal Apothecary by Cara Elizabeth. Gosh, I feel like I'm breezing through the decks without giving like more in-depth review. But like I said, and I'm gonna keep repeating myself, if you would like to see these decks in more detail, check out my videos. It's there. I've done individual deck reviews for each of these, so please do check it out. This one is the Spiritual Awakening Oracle deck by Reverend Dr. Erin Fall Haskell DD. It's pretty. I love the, what do you call it, the matte edging on this one. Seems very glittery, very hypnotic even. This, I purchased this because initially I just wanted to create a review because it somehow reminds me of Rebecca Campbell's deck, like the art style. But again, it's not patented. Her art style is not solely just available or allowed to be used by her. But I feel like the artist of this deck, Stephanie Weaker Campbell, definitely pulled inspiration from Rebecca Campbell. Oh my god, I don't even know. Maybe they are related. Her last name is also Campbell. But that is it. I think it's stunning. Now, as for the messages of this deck, basically it gives you an idea of the different laws of the universe. So the law of Dharma, transform your pain into purpose. The law of forgiveness, release all judgments and set yourself free. The law of growth, be steadfast in your faith and stay in the course. Images are beautiful, they're stunning. And of course, the messages, it's good to know the different universal laws. And also like what you can do to help yourself ascend better, ascend faster, help yourself be a better person. I feel like the messages on these cards really do help, especially if you're doing some bit of like soul searching, or if you're trying to get to know yourself a little bit deeper on a spiritual level. So this is really cool. And yeah, the name suggests spiritual awakening. There you go. But next up is the Animal King Oracle. This is by Sarah Wilder. A stunning deck that's always sold out on Hay House's website. Beautiful backing, isn't it? It's stunning. And the images, it's just perfect. I'm not really a border snob. I don't care much for borders, but some I do, like the Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle. I feel like the border takes away from the actual imagery. This one is absolutely gorgeous. It completely adds to it. It gives it the added oomph. I feel like this is so stunning because you can clearly see the animal. There's no design or there's no background detail on the animal or at the back of the animal, but like the borders really give its vibrancy, the color, right? It's just stunning. I just love looking at this deck. I love the different colors that she used. It's an absolutely gorgeous deck. Plus, you get to find the animal, right? And the keyword that relates to that specific animal. Like, I don't even know what a jabiru is, but there, foundation. Chameleon, of course, energy. So, cow, nourishment. Perfect. They give us milk. So, there. It's a good deck. Again, if you want to see the individual deck reviews, check out my videos. Next up is Goddesses Among Us. This is by Victoria Maxwell with artwork by Ellie Grant, another rock pool deck, which means it has amazing production quality. Nice guidebook. Just want to give you a flip through of the guidebook. The backing is gorgeous. I love the colors, right? This pink and the yellow, and this one has pale yellow edging as well. See, these are modernized versions of the different goddesses. I love the modern representation of the goddesses here. I feel like they seem a lot more relatable, especially for us in this day and age. Like, Mengpo, and she's this cool granny with like a very delicious pasta. Like Green Tara, like Fortuna, Rhiannon, beautiful. Would love. Oh, okay, so there's a horse. I was gonna say would have loved it if she was like wearing a horse, like a shirt. Oh, but she's wearing like the horseshoe. But yeah, stunning, isn't it? It's very relatable. I like it. I love how It's easy to appreciate the imagery. It's very simple, but at the same time, you have like gradients in the backing, so it's not super like just boring. So, Goddesses Amongst Us by Victoria Maxwell. Moving forward, this is Talking to Heaven by James Van Prague. I purchased it because I sometimes want to talk to my mother who passed on. So whenever I'm feeling down, I would just gravitate towards this deck and ask her, like, what do you want to tell me right now? Do you have any advice for me? The images is corny. They're not so pretty. I'm not really a fan of like just photos, but the messages are perfect. They can give you the comfort that you need. I have done several, I picked cards for a few of my friends who lost loved ones, and they said that, everything just really resonated, and they were just flabbergasted with how accurate this deck is, so I like it. I love this deck. I feel like it is definitely a vehicle for me to communicate with my past, with my loved ones who have passed on. So keeping this one definitely. Next up, we have the Divine Feminine and Masculine Reunited deck by Christabel Jessica. Bought this deck from her. She is an independent artist. I think the backing of this one is gorgeous. The yin and yang, the female and of the feminine and masculine energy. Love the edging of this one as well. This one seems to have suits in a way. Okay, so the white ones are positive traits. The dark blue ones are like, on the negative side. And then you also have gods and goddesses in this deck. So you have Kuan Yin for the golden ones. You have Lilith, you have Persephone, Pachamama. For the gods, you have the silver borders. So I think it's really cool. I like using this deck. I used it a lot when I first purchased it, but I feel like I am not really resonating with it as much now, but I'm not really looking to rehome this yet. Alright, next up is Monology Manifestations Oracle Cards by Yasmin Bolan. This is the second deck that she released from her collection. I love this one. Of course, I do love the first deck, but I really like this one as well. I love the imagery. Like, out of the three, this is my favorite in terms of the aesthetics. I think it's really, really gorgeous. I love the colors that she used. And the artwork is actually by Lori Mena. And I think it's very beautiful. It seems like the moon is just there guiding us every step of the way. It has that vibe. I feel like the moon in this, as represented in this deck, is a lot more, how do I say it? A lot more hands-on with our lives. Like, if we just find ourselves reaching out to it, like using it as a guide, as a way for us to connect our inner self. Like, there's so many different ways that we can connect with the moon. Like, it can help us manifest our dreams faster as well. Yeah, it gives that vibe. It gives the energy that the moon is there, it's accessible, and it's ready and willing to help. You just need to know when to do it and the proper way to do it. So, Monology Manifestation Oracle Cards by Yasmin Bolan. Next up, we have the Spirit Messages by John Holland. Again, another deck that I purchased to communicate with my mom who has passed on. Not a fan of the backing, not gonna go through that. But the images, again, I feel like you can tell that this is an older deck just through the design. But the messages that I get from this deck are also very spot on. I feel like I'm very connected with it. I use this along with the, what's the other one? The one that I showed you earlier, the Talking to Heaven deck, whenever I read for myself or read for people who recently lost a loved one. And together, they seem to give like the perfect message or perfect answer or advice that that person needs to hear at that precise time. And I tell you, it's always so accurate. It sometimes gives me the chills, but definitely staying in my collection. Next up is the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle deck. This is by Liminal 11. I haven't used this. To be honest, I haven't used this. I love that it's here. I love the imagery, but just haven't had the time to actually explore this deck. I think it's gorgeous. We all know, if it's organic, don't panic. But I think this is beautiful. Perhaps in the future, I'll find more time to actually connect with this deck and use it, but for now it's just staying in my collection because I haven't really had the chance to explore it, get acquainted with it. Next up is the Elemental Oracle by Stacy DeMarco, Alchemy, Science, and Magic. This is stunning. It is the holographic type. The edging of this one is just silver though. I love the backing, very pretty pink. I love the gradient. It's simple but gorgeous, eye-catching. The colors on this one really has the capacity to grab you. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like, this one seems so very gentle, but when you flip the cards over, it's like, whoa, look at me, I'm here. So I love that about this deck. I love the messages or the keywords and the card names. I feel like it's very relatable, even though it's very sciencey, written above the actual cards. They're very easy to understand. Voice, you have speaking your word, wind, change, animals, companionship. So I think that is amazing that they have that. Makes it a lot easier if you are not into science or not into that kind of stuff. Next up, we have Legendary Ladies, a Goddess deck by Anne Shen. This one actually has a book that unfortunately I never can seem to get my hands on, so we'll just rely on the guidebook. It's very pretty, but very little information. I love how they look like Disney princesses. There she is. That's my goddess, Ishelle. So it's so pretty. I love this deck. I feel like a little child looking at these gorgeous goddesses. I love how they are represented. I feel like they stuck true to the actual representation of the goddesses as described in the myths, in the books, and on all of that. And I think that pays respect to the goddesses themselves, not shading the modern goddesses. The one I showed you earlier, I think despite it being modernized, I think they still stuck to how the goddesses are really represented. So that's really wonderful. And yeah, very simple. And I like this deck. Has a very nurturing energy to it. Next one is Empowerment Cards. This is a deck that I purchased on Amazon when I was buying like a new batch of sage smudge sticks. And this was there. It's in the Purple Canyon store. Wasn't really expecting much from it, but look at that. It's just so beautiful. Especially since it has the metallic stamping, makes it a lot more elegant, a lot more luxurious in its vibe. But not only that, like the imagery, it's very beautiful, and the messages, the affirmations here, it's so like the card, like the deck name suggests, it's very, very empowering. I love anything that allows us to grow and, you know, step into our power. I am for it. I'm here for that. So I love this deck. I, you know, brought this to my office one time and just, you know, started picking a card before I start my day, and it really does help. It helps you set the mood for your day or like be in your power. Next up is the Priestess of the Light Oracle. This is by Sandra Ann Taylor. This is a deck that I was so keen on. You know, the image, I still am actually. The imagery is just so beautiful. I love all of the texture. I love the intricate details. I love how they're very, very emotive. Like the images, like they really convey emotion. Like each of the goddesses or each of the priestesses that are represented in this deck really give you a specific kind of emotion, and I feel that that connects very well to the keywords and the key phrases that they have at the bottom, or additional keywords that they have at the bottom. I love it. Quality of the card is also phenomenal. It feels like they used different paper for this one. It snaps back. I love the quality of this deck. I don't like the edging that I did. I think it's really, really sucky, but oh well. Backing, not a fan of, but yes, this deck is gorgeous. Priestess of the Light Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor. And like I said, if you're keen to know more about the decks, check out my individual deck reviews for each. This is the Magic of Unicorns by Diana Cooper. The backing is gorgeous, and you know, surprisingly, this is not your typical Hay House. Well, at least the you know, the newer releases of Hay House Oracle decks that are wafer thin. This is really actually nice. It's glossy, and the cardstock it's good. It's good. I like it. One thing about it though is that I stopped resonating with this deck for a while, so I haven't really touched it in a long time. But yeah, I think unicorns are just majestic creatures. They're magical. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I feel like maybe it's time for me to move on. But I really couldn't say right now. But we'll see in the future if it's still going to be here for 2024's year-end collection review. This is Denise Lin's Sacred Destiny Oracle. One that I wasn't expecting that I would actually love. So, backing is gorgeous. Imagery, stunning. You know, it reminds me of, it really does remind me of like nature photos and landscape photos that are with, what do you call that? That are framed. Because that's exactly what it looks like. But at the same time, you have keywords at the bottom, and I feel like the keywords really allude to the imagery as well. Power, you have thunderstorms, right? Flexibility, you have bamboos here that are very, very pliant. And yeah, happiness, you have dolphins. I think it's just a very wonderful deck. Another thing is it gives me comfort. For some reason, I feel very, very comforted when I'm using this deck. I have actually connected with this deck so many times before. And so I feel like my relationship with it, the bond that I have with it is really strong. So whenever I try to pull something from it, like I just automatically know, okay, all right, I understand your message. It seems like, okay, what do you need from me? And then it'll give me an answer and I'll be like, okay, got it. That's how it feels like when I'm using this deck. So I really love this one. Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lin. Okay, on to the next one. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle Divination cards by Colette Baron Reid, one of the first few ones that I purchased as well. Quite an old deck, but a very well loved deck. This one has borders. Artwork is it? De la Grotalia? Let me see. Because I feel like, yeah, Jenna de la Grotalia. I feel like Colette Baron Reid just stuck with the same artist all throughout. I think it's good because, you know, the identity is there. The DNA of her art. Jenna's art is there. So I think it's really cool. I like this deck. I feel like this will work for beginners. It's very simple to understand. And the guidebook is just very thick. And it has a lot of information. The guidebook has a wealth of wisdom that it shares to the reader. The artwork, it's stunning. And yeah, if you need to know more about this deck, feel free to check out my individual review of this specific deck. So that's Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. Next up, we have The Goddess Oracle by Amy Sofia Marashinsky. Now, you know, I do have other goddess decks, but this one I like because it's not your typical goddess deck. And the guidebook is just wonderful. So the backing I don't like so much. Like you can see the difference in the color here. I wish they just removed the backing or the box that they use for the text. But this is how it looks like. It's so simple. It's so straightforward. It's just there. The actual goddesses. The goddess and a keyword that's associated with the goddess. I think it's really amazing how this deck conveys the actual quality or representation of the goddess. I think it's really cool. I love the Bast card. And then, just for this specific deck, I'm going to show you the guidebook. The guidebook is so filled with information, you guys. Like, if you are new and you want to connect with your goddesses, or if this is something that you're still just starting to, you know, dabble with, yeah, go ahead, get this one. Because you have a lot. It's a wealth of information. I trust me, you will learn a lot just from this guidebook alone, and you have cards to use at the same time. So that is it. That is the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sofia Marashinsky. Looks old already, looks worn out, but still works. I feel like I'm losing natural light. Okay, yeah, no, it's still okay. This is Kyle Gray's Gateway of Light Activation Oracle, a deck published by Hay House. A stunning deck, one that is, I would say, very straightforward and will kick my ass if I don't follow my tarot or oracle integrity. Like, I feel like this deck, for some reason, I don't know, like I shuffled it several times in the past, and I was trying to get a message, right? I was like, okay, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? And I picked a card, and I was like, okay, that's quite difficult to understand. So I picked another card, and it was still the same one. And, I shuffled again, and the thing flew out. I kid you not, that happened. And I was just like, okay, okay, I get your point. I get it. I get it. So I feel like, this deck will not give you shit. It'll definitely be stubborn if you are also stubborn. So, I like this one. The messages are, of course, a lot more deeper in sense of its spirituality, but that's good because the guidebook, it has a lot of information that you can use if this is your first time to venture into this one. It's really, I'm not really that well adept when it comes to like the different gateways, but I think it's really cool. So the guidebook was able to guide me through it, and I like this deck. I'm keeping it. The artwork is stunning, and I love how my relationship with this deck is like, hey, you have to listen to me. This is the message that you need to hear. Follow it. Next one is Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle by Amanda Lovelace. She recently just released a tarot deck, and I think it works perfectly with this one. This oracle deck is just very, very simple. Cardstock is good. It's a little bit bigger than your usual, but it's super duper relatable. It has a modern vibe that makes it so comfortable to read. I feel like it's easy to relate with, and at the same time, this deck is fully diverse. I love how people can see themselves in this deck. Totally. And I feel like this deck gives you the strength that you need. If you're kind of like doubting yourself, this deck will help you find your inner strength. Like, it's definitely going to make you believe in your own magic. It will support you. It's like a best friend that's cheering you on if you're down, if you're feeling sad. Like, this deck will give you that push that you need to move forward. So I think it's really cool. I love this deck. This is Believe in Your Own Magic by Amanda Lovelace. Alright, on to the next batch. This is the Love Oracle cards by Island Time Wellness. One of my favorite confirmation cards whenever I do love readings. Just very simple, matte black. Has a very nice art style or artwork in the middle. Very straightforward. You have the keywords here, a small artwork here, and the actual key phrases and keywords, and a lot of them actually. To be honest, I've had this deck for I don't know, maybe 3 years now, but I feel like I haven't pulled out all of the cards whenever I'm doing my reading. It's very straightforward. It gives you the confirmation that you need, and it's very spot on. So I like the energy of this deck. I feel like it has helped me a lot in my love readings, just to give that extra additional validation that one needs for their reading. This is the Gypsy Oracle cards. One that I feel like is very strange. Very, very strange. I think this has a separate guidebook that you can purchase, also from Los Carabeo. This one has different languages at the bottom, typical to your usual Los Carabeo deck. What I like about this one is it's not afraid to go morbid. I feel like, you can't always have happy, bright and vibrant decks. Like, you also have, like, words that aren't so positive but are really true in this life. You know what I mean? Like, there's a suicide, there's malady, there's foe, death and sorrow, because these are legit emotions that we feel, right? In this life, we have despair, like the suicide card. So I think it's good that this has a great mix of different emotions, and this deck has been around for ages. So yeah, this is really cool. I like this one. Next found it is the Affirmators Love and Relationship. So this is my first Affirmators deck, and what led me to purchase the other one. I love this one so much better than the other one, just because I feel like we have bonded thoroughly over the past several years. So similar to the regular Affirmators deck, this one of course has like a very cute image there, a keyword here, and a very funky description. It's funny. It's just absolutely witty. So I love this deck. Again, I'm just leafing through all of the cards here just because I am running out of natural light, you guys. That's how long this thing is taking. So if you are interested to learn more about this deck or you want to see the full flip through, check out the other videos that I have on my channel. Everything is there. So this is the Signs of the Times Oracle by Crystal Banner, a Hay House deck. Purchased last year. Oh no, just this year. Love the hypnotic background. And very, very minimalist. I love the modernity of this deck. It's just very straightforward. Yeah, 1212 angel numbers. We see that a lot, don't we? So I feel like, yeah, this deck is all about signs and it's giving you the sign. So whenever you need to ask for a sign, you just grab this deck, pull on it, and you can get the message that you need to hear. Sorry, I'm really just rushing because losing light. Here we have the Carolyn Myss archetype cards, of course, based off the archetypes by Carl Jung. I edged mine in black, and there you go. A lot of people use this deck, I believe, that if it goes like this, it means the reversed meaning or the shadow attributes, but it doesn't necessarily work that way because as per Carl Jung, we all possess these traits like the shadow and light. Carolyn Myss was able to express or explain that in the guidebook, which I think is really a lot of information. And good. I'm not saying that it's bad, right? It's good. So this is a good deck for you to learn more about yourself. I feel like more than for others, I think this deck is more about for your own inner work. Do you know what I mean? So don't be afraid if you pick like a prostitute or like a victim card or whatever, because it's all up to you and how you will, digest that information in order for you to be more acquainted with yourself. I think it's really cool. Voila! That is Archetype Cards by Carolyn Myss. Next up, we have Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. One of my first few rock pool decks. I edged mine in this beautiful gray color so that it's reminiscent of the moon. Backing is very simple, but the images in the front is very gorgeous. I love the colors. I love how the moon is, of course, present in each of the cards. You have the kind of the moon and the card or the keyword that associates with it. For example, waning, gibbous 5, resilience, right? And then we have new moon, of course, beginnings, waxing crescent, realization. And I love how the imagery also relates to the card or to the kind of moon that's represented in the card. This deck has also a stunning guidebook, but apart from that, the guidebook has a wealth of information. If you want to learn more about the moon, grab this deck. It has a lot of wisdom to share with you. This is the Pocket Animal Spirit deck and guidebook by Kim Krantz from The Wild Unknown. So this one has like a full-sized version. Never really got to purchase that one. I'm okay with this one. I don't have any issues. I think it's tiny. And I love that about it. And despite the fact that it's tiny, it's, very easy to shuffle. It's, you can bring it with you anywhere. The cardstock is wonderful. I love the cardstock of this one. The imagery, stunning. It's so similar to the Wild Unknown Tarot, right? I know a lot of people don't like that, but I really do like the lines and the colors, and everything is perfectly done or perfectly I feel like everything is perfectly created, like the placement of the colors, the gradients, and all of that. It's just so wonderful. Thing about this is you really need to read the guidebook in order for you to understand or to really get what the message is. So that's not a drawback. I feel like with it being so tiny, at least the pocket version of this one, you can bring it with you and just be more acquainted to the cards and their meanings anywhere you go. This one is The Language of Flowers by Sherilyn Darcy. I love this deck. I really do love this deck. I actually edged mine in this metallic pink, but it has, dissolved over the past couple of years. Anyway, So this is very simple. You have the flower, you have a keyword associated to it, and you have an action word. I feel like this is my favorite way of how to create oracle decks. You have everything that you need in just one card. You know, you have the crocus, you have the scientific name of the flower, you have the keyword, and an action phrase. What do you need to do? Calm, rest, stop, adjust, be. I feel like this deck is really, truly one of my favorites from the Rockpool collection. It's actually what led me to purchase this one, the Flower Petals Oracle deck by also Charlene Darcy. So again, pretty backing and similar style. So you have the name of the flower, and then you have the scientific name. This one doesn't have an additional keyword, but it has the action phrase. So there. So if you get the poppy, remember who you wanted to be. If you get iris, spread your creative wings and take flight. So just straight to the message, no more additional keyword. And I think that's cool. I like that. I don't have any issues with that, but I do prefer this one. All right, moving on to the next. This is From the Heart Affirmations by Anna Stark. It doesn't have a lot. It has just random glittery designs in the backing, which I think is very elegant, very beautiful. But the messages on this one is just a lot more meaty. Do you know what I mean? I experience love in all its beautiful glory. So it is all about affirmations, right? And I think it's good that we pick one per day, the moment that we wake up, and say affirmations, just to like call them towards us. I release fear of the unknown. I can move forward with energy and enthusiasm. Acknowledge and accept emotions as they arise within me without prejudice or judgment. I feel like that's something that's perfect for people who have a hard time, getting in touch with their emotions and understanding and, reacting to them. So this one is inspired by Frida by Akalpitam. I like it because I love Frida Kahlo. The backing, absolutely gorgeous. So these are, of course, Frida Kahlo's well-known self-portraits. The messages are, again, very straightforward. These are action phrases that you can actually work on, right? Let your creativity take you between nothing and everything. Your heart knows the way. Do you feel free? What does it mean to you? I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I love it. I love it so much. Perfect for journaling, or for something. If you need to pull a card to start your day off with, that would be great as well. I'm not even sure if I should include this. I'm just gonna give you a quick peek. This is the I Ching cards. That it's so old. Can you imagine? When we were clearing out my mom's closet, I found this. I didn't even realize that she was also into cartography. But yeah, this is her I Ching cards. I don't know if I have time to study that, but just wanted to show you as well. This is a gift from An Aquarian Sense. So this is more, again, oracle cards. So dark. And to be honest, you need to really be in depth or need to really be in tune with your intuition when using this deck because it doesn't have a guidebook. But so far, I really like it. I feel like it's so intimate. Next up is the Hidden Truth Oracle. This is an independent deck. And these are additional messages that you can use whenever you do love readings. So if you need, like, what are your partner's messages for you, and just select, shuffle, and then select. I think it's really good. I used to do a lot of love readings, and so far everything has been very, very accurate, especially like messages that, they think that the other person will say. So it is, and it relates very well to the actual spread or the reading that I'm doing. It's just very minimalist, straightforward. I love the rose here and the message. I even like the font. So it's one of the decks that, I'll find very hard to part ways with, just because I feel like I have had a lot of really good readings with this one. Next up is the Crystal Ball Pocket Oracle by Athene Noctua. It's just your simple, simple oracle deck. It's just how many cards? 13, right? So you can very well bring it with you anywhere you want to go and need like a little bit of guidance. And then you just pick one card and get more information. You also have yes or no. So very straightforward. This deck was initially an independent deck, but it has been picked up by, was it Hay House? No. yeah, Hay House picked up this deck and it's now available for mass market consumption. This is one of my favorites. This is the Amanda Ellis Archangel Metatron. I do work with Archangel Metatron. I love him so much, and I'm not gonna go through this deck much because this is something that's very important to me. I haven't done a review of this just because I actually did. I created a review for this one. But after I started using it, I just got so attached to this deck. The connection is just so unbelievably strong that it propelled me to delete the review that I did because I want this deck just for myself. And I am a bit selfish, I guess. I don't care. But sometimes you just need to, preserve what relationship you have, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if you put it out there for everyone to see, then, well, there are definitely reviews about this specific deck out there, but I don't know. I just feel weird. If it's coming from me. I've cried so much. My tears have stained this deck several times, and I kid you not, this and the Angel Guide Oracle, they got me through some of the worst experiences in my life, and the guidebook is very amazing. So get this one if you want to work with Archangel Metatron. He's my protector. Love him. Next one is Colette Baron Reed's The Spirit Animal Oracle. I like this deck. It's of course an animal deck that has amazing imagery. I'm using sunlight. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm just gonna rush. So you can see the colors on this deck are vibrant. They're beautiful. The intricacy of the design is just really, really mind-boggling. How, they were able to make something so simple but so gorgeous. You can see. So that's also Jenna de la Grotalia. Another thing that I like about this is you got the hawks, like the animal guide, and like the message. So if you got the koala spirit, it's telling you that spirit has a plan. If you got the electric eel, you're being asked to bring your ideas to life. Yeah, there you go. Colette Baron Reed. Again, a substantial amount of information in her guidebook. So that's really cool. Shaman's Dream Oracle. Okay. So, backing front. So you have the keyword there and the additional key phrases or like additional keywords. So the name of the card is Eyes of the Eagle, and then the message at the bottom is Rising Above the Fray. The name of the card is Overflow, Overwhelm, and Plenty. So basically, you need to check in with your intuition if you're gonna use this deck. I don't think it's gonna be difficult because the artist had added a lot of symbolisms in the deck. Like the emotions are coming through very potent. And yeah, you can always have a look at the guidebook because Colette Baron Reed writes very well. She's able to explain her thoughts on the guidebook, and she worked with Alberto Villoldo with this deck. Okay, next up, oh my gosh, let's do this. So this is the Twin Flame Oracle by Vrunda Dave, PhD. This one is really amazing because it's very straightforward. Just have the title of the card up there, or the subject of the card, and some key phrases at the bottom. So that is how it looks like. Very easy to use. Use it for your love readings, use it for whatever, right? But not just solely for twin flame, right? You can use it for any kind of relationship reading. I feel like it will totally resonate with you. I hope I'm still making sense. I feel like my energy has gone down for sure. And that's because, I've been talking for the past, I don't know how long. Okay, I'm braving through this entire collection video because I'm so hungry now. But this is the Fallen Angel Oracle cards by Nigel Suckling. These are Fallens. I'm not gonna say their names because you know what they mean if you say their names 3 times, so definitely gonna call them here. But despite this deck being very dark, as you can see, it is about like these images are taken from cemetery and all of that. Like the messages that they provide are actually very good. They're very spot on, and it's good to have a dark deck once in a while, just so that you can also have a perspective on of the other side, right? It can't always be just light. Next up, we have the Lantern Oracle. This is by Angelina Mirabito, PhD, one of the wonderful Blue Angel decks I have. Beautiful imagery, stunning imagery, and perfect for learning more about yourself. I used to get one card per day, just my daily pulls when I first purchased this deck, and it has provided me a lot of insight about myself. I love how this deck is very diverse. It has age diversity, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The guidebook is also phenomenal. Not gonna go into it. If you are interested to see more about this deck, check out my videos. Alright, next up is the Sacred Rebels Oracle. This is by Alana Fairchild, another Blue Angel deck. This is gorgeous. Similar with the Lantern Oracle, this one is more about, learning about yourself, connecting with your inner child, just overall allowing you to be in tune with who you truly are, right? I think this is a gorgeous deck to use for self-reflection. There you go. I'm so sorry. I am just really breezing through all of these decks. The imagery is wonderful, as you saw. The quality of the cardstock is amazing for Blue Angel decks. So I'm so sorry. Feel like I'm rambling. I'm just so hungry. Next one is Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards. This is by Jade Sky with illustration by Belinda Morris. I love this deck because I feel like it connects me to different cultures around the world and, the ancestors, right? Because without them, we wouldn't be here. And I love how this one provides you with the message and then also additional keywords that will allow you to understand the cards a little bit better if you're not keen to look at the guidebook. But if you are, the guidebook does provide a wealth of information as well. And I love how, I feel like most cultures are well represented in this Oracle deck. I think it's amazing. I am one who loves traveling, loves to, learn about different culture, see different, landscapes and just traveling, and I feel like it's amazing, so amazing, that I feel like I'm getting introduced to these different cultures just by getting through or going through this deck and the guidebook. So definitely an amazing one to have if you are very adventurous and you're very much into different cultures as well, or learning about different cultures. This is the Creative Consciousness Healing Oracle. This is not by Blue Angel. It's by Andrews McNeil, and I think it's cute. It's a cute deck. I'm not so sure if this is for kids specifically. It can be, just because the imagery of this one is just so it's calming, it's cute, it's quirky, and at the same time I feel like it can very well relate to your inner child. I feel like maybe I think that's what I said. Even I feel like on the actual deck review of this one, I feel like it's allowing you to heal your inner child, right? Maybe that's why they made the artwork this way. It's beautiful. I love that it's dark, but at the same time you have the perfect amount of vibrancy of the colors just to allow the imagery to pop out. The texts are also wonderful. I feel like it will resonate to anyone and everyone. It's easy to understand. So yeah, there it is. The Creative Consciousness Healing Oracle deck by Joanna Wright. Haven't really used this much actually, so I'm very keen to do that this coming year. One of my favorite decks, this is the Sufi Wisdom Oracle by Rasuli. One that I thought I would never like just because, geez, it's just all abstract. But I surprised myself. I am very much in love with this deck. The bond that I have with this deck is insane. I love the backing. First and foremost, I think it's gorgeous. And even though the imagery is just like, what the hell is that? I feel like some people would look at Oracle cards, like the artwork of it, and get, nudges, get connections, right? Get their intuition running wild because of the symbolisms, because of the emotions or the faces, right? All of those many different factors. But with this one, it's just absolutely abstract. But I kid you not, the messages that I get from this deck is just, it's so heartfelt. That's what it feels like. It feels so comforting. It feels it feels straight. It feels, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like it's straight from the creator, if that makes sense. Or am I just being cray cray here? But whenever I get a message or a nudge from this deck, an intuitive nudge from this deck, it's always just, it comes from a place of comfort and pure love. So that's why I said I feel like it comes from the creator. But there you go. That is the Sufi Wisdom Oracle by Razuli. Next up, this is the Sacred Mothers and Goddesses Oracle deck by Claudia Olivos. Very simple backing. And in the front, you have different goddesses. I love it. It's beautiful. They remind me of Tony Carmine Salerno's artwork somehow. But these are just wonderful. So this is how it looks like. So you have the name of the goddess or the sacred mother, and then you have the different keywords that are associated with that specific goddess or mother. So we have Rhiannon, and it's self-love. I love this deck. It's beautiful. This is Runes for Modern Life. Gosh, I never really got to use this. Maybe this is something that I'm keen to have, but not really keen to explore further. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this deck moving forward. I studied runes when I was in high school. Oh no, not even. Middle school. My best friend sent me a book about it, and I kind of learned about it, but that was like ages ago, like it was a lifetime ago. So maybe that's something I would like to have, but not really explore right now. So this is the Spirit of the Animal Oracle by Jordi Bergsma. This is like, I think, the biggest deck size I have. It's difficult for me to shuffle the entire thing. I have to do it this way because I really do have small hands, and it is slippery, so that's a drawback. But the messages that I get from this deck, they're very insightful, if you know what I mean. So I guess it has something to do with how the creator, or Jody Bergsma, wrote the actual message. So if you got Polar Bear, Mystic, know that challenges make you stronger, have faith when you face adversity, take time to rest, dream and renew your strength, embrace your psychic abilities, you carry the shaman within. Very straightforward, very comforting, and just very clear actually. So I really do like this deck. Haven't used this enough, like as much as I would like to, because I do have a ton of decks to use. But yeah, this is something that's definitely staying in my collection. I love animals and have, purchased a lot of animal decks over the last year. So definitely keeping this one. Next up is the Wandering Heart deck by Reina Bedi. Very simple backing, just a heart, and it has borders. It has a huge name or name of the card at the bottom. So yeah, I think it's cute. Not something that I would typically sought out and purchase, but I got this during the sale. I think I haven't used this as much, to be honest, but yeah, I love the imagery on this one. Even though they're cartoonish, I feel like they're so cute, and they're not afraid to use quite controversial, I guess, don't come at me, but not a lot of decks have orgasm in there. So yeah, it's really cool. Really, really cool. I like this deck. It's cute, but it's, it's not afraid. It's cute, but it's very strong. So we have, this one is the Great Eastern Oracle by Rasuli. Again, another Blue Angel deck. Quite similar in the style or in the aesthetic. This one has this jewel toned green. I love it. And yeah, similar to the other one. This one is a bit more, I don't know, like it's not as abstract as the other one. This one has people in it, or at least more defined people, as opposed to the other one, but it does have the same art style, and it does provide the same kind of message. I haven't used this one as much as I used the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. However, it gives off the same vibe. It does give me the same energy. So this is something I really like as well. Next up, we have Stacey DeMarco's Earth Power Oracle. I purchased this one because, like I said, I'm very keen to travel. I like experiencing new cultures, tasting different cuisines and whatnot. And I feel like this deck helped me to quench my wanderlust during the pandemic wherein nobody's allowed to travel anywhere. I really like the imagery here. I'm very much into learning about different cultures, like I said 100 times already. So this deck is like me getting acquainted with them without having to travel there. Maybe if I feel connection with a specific card here, maybe that will propel me. I've been here. Maybe that will propel me to actually travel there. I feel like, yeah, that's a possibility. But at the same time, I think it's really cool to learn more about these. I've been here. So this is really my favorite. Like, I would love, 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 love to go to Göbekli Tepe. I was planning to go there early this year, but just my plans didn't push through. But anyway, so in this guidebook, I actually put a star in the places that I've been. Okay, there are. I don't know why I can't find one. I saw a couple earlier, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. I just want to show you the guidebook because it does provide the GPS as well, and something that an advice for you when you do visit. So that's really cool for people who have the wanderlust. Consider getting this deck. It's really amazing. Up we have Cosmic Oracle Tarot. Cosmic Insights. So this is just a deck that I purchased off of Amazon. It's just like confirmation cards, very simple. It's stunning. The color is beautiful. The gradient makes it look like it's pearlescent or something, but it actually isn't in real life. But these are cool. It reminds me of the Island Time Wellness card, but a lot bigger. Simple messages, a simple artwork, gets it done. This one is a Fermis. So, like 50 cards of profanity. All right, some people are not so keen on that, but I think it's funny. It's definitely for adults. Stay magical as fuck. And then looking on the bright side, rise up and attack the day with the motherfucking enthusiasm. So I think it's really cute. If you are not one who gets, offended easily, I feel like you will enjoy this deck. It's very similar to the Affirmators deck, but this one has like a slight spiciness to it. Not slight, it's a lot spicy in the sense that, it has a lot of profanity in it. But for me, I don't mind. I think it's hilarious. Okay. Next up, we have the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Ina Segal. So I'm just going to go through this one. It has a different art style, as you can see. Very different from the rest of my collection, but I do like it. I love how it provides you with action key phrases at the bottom, like listen to your guardian angel, practice positivity, even provide it's a yes, it's a no, stop breaking agreements, embrace meditation, learn from karma. So I love how it's very straightforward, and the imagery is also beautiful. So this is the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Anna Segal. And then this one is Heal Yourself Reading Cards, also by Anna Segal, but this one has a different vibe to it. So this is more for you to address your shadow self, I feel like, because it does have that more dark energy. But yeah, like rejection, pride, it has the different or the hard-hitting keywords that sometimes we need to confront or address. So I think this is really good. It's very pretty. Doesn't have the straightforward keywords like the Mystical Healing Reading Cards, but still very good. All right, on to the next one. This is the Married in 5D cards. I'm including this one still because this is a deck, well, it's my handwritten deck. So I have different messages. I kind of like sat down and meditated for a while. And back when I didn't have the love messages decks that I purchased, sir, this is the card that I would use for additional clarification. It still works. Actually, still like it. Not gonna go deep into that anymore. This is the Ascension cards. was gifted to me by Anna. So this is how it looks like. It has a guidebook, but it's there at the bottom of my bookcase. I'm not picking it anymore, but this is the Ascension cards. I think this is a Blue Angel deck. This one is an astrology deck that unfortunately the guidebook is there. Can't see it right now. I'm gonna insert the name over here. It doesn't have a box anymore when it was gifted to me, but I'm very, very grateful still because I'm not so keen. I'm not so knowledgeable when it comes to astrology. So having this one is, it's very beautiful. I love the imagery. I love the style of it. How it seems like it's an old, like how it seems like it's someone's a journal and then they drew on it. I feel like, yeah, it makes me very interested to learn more. This one is, I forgot the name of this deck. Oh my god. But it's an affirmation deck. It was gifted to me again. Like the imagery on this one is just so cute. It's perfect for kids or, kids at heart. I feel like it just reminds me of my, elementary days, like grade school days. Like okay, this is the You Are So Magical Oracle cards. I'm going to keep it at the top so that I don't forget the name of this deck. But essentially, this is how it looks like in the back. So you have the keywords. Questions to ask yourself, message, acts of self-care, and affirmation. So perfect for, journaling. Okay, so this one is the Blessed Bee Oracle, another Blue Angel deck. Doesn't have a box anymore, but I do have the guidebook. I love it because everything is all about blessings and blessing for good man and father. So I remember I pulled that one during Father's Day and kind of like said a little bit of prayer for all the fathers out there, not just mine and, the one within my family and friends group. But yeah, I think it's really beautiful. The imagery is so stunning. It's of Celtic design, I believe. I like it. It's nice. Nice to send out blessings to everyone out there as well. This is a deck that I purchased off of makeplayingcards.com. It's called the Empath. And the messages are just like this. So these are created by independent artists. So yeah, of course, they look different. It's not cohesive, at least the art style, but the messages are really, really good. This one is the Aurora Oracle. Again, by an independent artist, bought from makeplayingcards.com. But you can clearly see it is stunning. The faces are gorgeous and they do convey emotions, which I think is really fantastic. I think we're almost done. Hi, this is me from the future. I am inserting this video because I missed a couple from the last time I did my filming. So this is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. This is published by Watkins. And this is a different kind of oracle deck because she does have separate stories, like short stories per card. As per the creator, the short stories are ones that she, I don't know, was told to her when she was young by her spirit guides, or I remember that she said something about that, how the drawings or like the actual stories were told to her when she was younger, and she just kind of like set it aside until somebody told her, hey, these are messages with or stories with pearls of wisdom that might be good if you share it to the world. So that is what she did. I like this one because it has both like the positive and negative keywords, so you get a good balance of both. So that is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. It's the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck by Tori Hartman. Next one. This is actually, I don't know if it's a tarot or an oracle deck, but I kind of use it as both. This is Psychic Tarot by John Holland. So essentially, it's a tarot deck, except it doesn't have the court cards. You have to refer to the number to know what kind of tarot it is or what card it is. So black borders would mean your major arcana. So number 6, this is the Lover's card. So red is about pentacles. Green is your cup suit. Okay. What else? Blue is swords, and purple is your wands. That is it. I'm not gonna go into detail about this deck. I do have separate reviews for each that are a lot more in-depth and detailed. So if you're keen to learn more, you can check them out on my channel. That is it. This is the Divine Masculine Love Oracle from the Cottage. So she also has like a YouTube channel for readings, and I saw her use these cards once, and I decided to purchase from makeplayingcards.com. So you can use it for your what do you call it? You can use it for your confirmation or for your love readings. I think that's cool. What else do we have here? Okay, so this is the I think 50 shades, 52 shades of pink of love or something. Yeah, 50 shades of love by V Love and Crystals. So she also has a YouTube channel. She has a very, very soothing voice. I love her voice, and she creates oracle decks like this one. So I edged mine in black. And these are also, I purchased this from her Etsy. But these are also available on makeplayingcards.com, I believe. And lastly, this is Glowwood Oracle. So this was sent to me in PR sometime mid-year. And this is the Glowwood Companion Book. So this is a thick book. And quite frankly, I am not very well versed when it comes to shrubs, trees, and all of that. I'm not going to pretend that I'll find time to read or, acquaint myself with these. It's something that's nice to have, as it's the first PR box that I ever received. I think the deck it's gorgeous. It's the production quality is amazing. I just think that it'll take me a lot of time, like maybe years, before I even understand this deck and its purpose. It has its own system as well, but I think for anyone out there who loves nature, this will be a perfect deck for you. I guess that's it. Oh my gosh, if I forget something, if I missed something, I'm so sorry, but I am so exhausted. I'm so hungry. And I just really wanted to finish this video for you guys. That is my full Oracle deck collection. Let me know what you guys think. If you've reached the end of this video, please put a lion on the description box. I don't know why lion, just leave one just so that I know that you finished the entire thing. Many blessings to all of you, and have a wonderful new year ahead. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like, or maybe subscribe to my channel for future videos like this. It helps support what I do, and thank you so much. See you soon.